Hi, back again for another week. And this week, sorry, my computer. This week, we're in the home stretch with NaNoWriMo. It's the last couple of days. So, November 28th. So, we have tomorrow and Wednesday. As you can see, I'm down to chapter 11, not bankruptcy, but the chapter in my book. So you can see I'm down to I have this much left. We've gone through, we've revised this much of the book and have this much left. So I'm almost done with one. I still have another book. Still have a whole other book to revise, but I'm going to be happy that I'm almost done with the second book, with book 2, and I will immediately move on to book 3 and of the Fairy Princess series. So we're making progress on those books, keeping those up and out. And also, let's see, DC Studios. So according to, I guess what I saw on Twitter today, DC Studios, well, James Gunn said the video games will be connected. All the DC video games will be connected to movies and TV shows. So from now on. So of course, I have an article from IGN. Okay. So, DC will make games connected to its film universe, James Gunn confirms in a tweet. DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn has confirmed that the new DC film universe will be linked to future video games that exist in the same canon. As reported by Eurogamer, Gunn was asked on Twitter if the DCEU, which now seems to be rebranded as just the DCU, will incorporate more forms of entertainment down the line, to which he replied, yes, most definitely. The DCU will be connected across film and TV and animation, he added. When another fan asked if there are plans for games to be connected to the DCU too, Gunn replied plainly yes. And here's the tweet with the question, are there plans for games to be connected to the DCU as well, Mr. Gunn? And his answer, yes, period. Nothing else was said, but it does confirm a trend from Marvel's strategy of building a shared universe across its films and a separate one across its games. We do know that Gunn and co-CEO Peter Safran begun work on an 8 to 10 year plan for DC films, TV shows, animation, and more. However, meaning we'll likely see a game or two materialize in this time too. The upcoming Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game won't be part of this universe, however, as developer Rocksteady Studios has already confirmed is part of the Arkham world that includes Arkham Asylum and Gotham Knights. Only time will tell exactly how the DCU shared universe plan will turn out, but it could lead to some interesting crossovers, such as Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam appearing in a video game, or video game first character moving on to star in a movie. So that was very interesting. Let me see. Could go either really well or really bad. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just happy somebody has a plan. As long as someone has it. The fact that they're sitting down and making a plan makes me happy. It doesn't have to copy the MCU and have all these different phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 4. I just want them to plan to make some movies and follow through. I just need a plan with some follow through. That's what I want. So you have to play the games to know what the movies are about. Yeah, because I will be totally lost because I don't play video games. And he needs to just focus on making a good DC movie, not named Batman first. Word. Because this is something I've always had a problem with DC, that they constantly go back to Superman and Batman, Superman and Batman, Superman and Batman over and over and over again, when there's so many superheroes in the DCEU, or now just the DCU, that they can go to, and just within the Justice League itself, and even outside of that, just there's so many characters that they can go to, and they don't have to just keep going to those two characters. So I hope I hope I hope they expand and we get some more movies, because like we've been doing good. We got Aquaman, we got Shazam, we got Black Adam, we got Wonder Woman. So like the past couple of years have been good for the DCEU. And I just want them to keep going. And I want to see some other characters. I want to see them continue to go along that same route and just keep going into that same route. But speaking of James Gunn, I need your opinion on Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I was just my thoughts until you watch. Wait a minute, that's out? I didn't realize that was out. I had heard about it, but I didn't know it was out. I for some reason I wasn't expecting it until like Christmas time. Is that on Disney Plus? Because I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna have to go watch it, because I've heard about it, and I heard some people talking about it, but it's almost like it went straight through my consciousness. I heard about it, I heard some people complaining about it, and then it just went shoot, because I kind of ignore holiday until after Thanksgiving because I'm kind of sick of people pushing Christmas on me before Thanksgiving. For me, Christmas does not start until the day after Thanksgiving, and I refuse to acknowledge it before. So it just went straight through my consciousness. So yeah, so I will. Okay, now that we're past the Thanksgiving holiday, we're moving into December. I will check out the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and I will give my thoughts on it. I'll probably most likely be giving my thoughts on a lot of different holiday specials, because it's it's the holiday time, and I'm going to be watching. That's what I'm going to be watching, is holiday movies. I just watched Falling for Christmas with Lindsay Lohan. That was very interesting. So I'm going to be watching more and more holiday movies, those Hallmark specials and things and stuff like that. So, but yes, I do want a Cyborg movie. I need him to do this Cyborg movie. I need James Gunn to re resurrect the Cyborg movie, because after seeing his storyline in the very adequate just Zack Snyder's Justice League, the very adequate Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think he would have a very great movie all on his own, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a Cyborg movie, and I also want to see a Jon Stewart Green Lantern. So it really could. It really could be really good if done right. So very, very interested in seeing that. Okay. And speaking of movies, okay, so last week I did a very abbreviated live stream, and I didn't really get a chance to say, because last week I went and I saw Wakanda Forever, so I didn't really get a chance to talk about that. And I loved it. I was in a theater where there were people who were boohoo crying because like I get it. It was emotional, but it's fiction, people. There's no need to just cry like we were at a real funeral, like seriously. But people got emotional. People was all in their feelings. And but I liked the movie. I liked the story. Angela Bassett was awesome. I see a lot of people talking about, there should be Oscar nominations. Black Panther received Oscar nominations, and I think Wakanda Forever definitely should, and she should definitely be nominated for what she did in Wakanda Forever. And I definitely I love the different I love that it focused on the different female storylines, the different women, Shuri and Nakia and Okoye, and I just love their storylines in this movie and just following them and the different places it took us. Like I was telling someone else, I had a point or two in the third act that I can't say right now that I had a problem with, but other than that, I really did go with the story. I felt like they sort of did the same thing with this story as they did with Killmonger, but in a different way. Sort of, you having an antagonist. So rather than although Killmonger was a straight up villain, Namor was more of an antagonist than a villain. So that was the difference between the two movies. But yeah, liked it. Well, she's always been the best female actress of all time to me. Always, 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 always. But there was a moment, there was a scene, like if we're gonna say she's gonna be nominated for Best Actress, I already know what scene would be on the reel that they would show, because there is just a scene where she just gives everything, and it's just as she's giving this scene, you're just like, oh my God, she sucks you in. She sucks you in to her emotions, and you're like, I can't believe this comic book movie is making me feeling these emotions right now. She was really taking you there. It was a full-on dramatic movie. So yes, she deserves it. She really, really, really deserves it. Oh, oh, I hate that. I hate that when people do that and ruin it for you. Um, but I've gotten really good at I guess if people in I've gotten really good at um defending my space, defending my headspace. If I catch people like, okay, Facebook is a place to stay off. Twitter is definitely a place. It's really easy to stay off of Twitter because it usually is just going to be in Twitter trending. So you stay, as long as you stay off of Twitter trending, then you should be good. Facebook, you just stay off of Facebook altogether. In real life, the moment people starts talking, if it's just a one-on-one conversation, then I'm just like, I don't want to talk about that right now. Or if it's multiple people and I can get up and walk away, I get up and walk away. If I can't get up and walk away, then the headphones are going in and I'm not listening. I'm turning up. I do everything in my power to protect my headspace when I'm trying not to hear about a movie. I don't care how I don't care how old the movie is. If I plan on seeing it, like just recently, like maybe a year or two ago, I just saw Armageddon, and I made sure I protected my space about that old ass movie, but I still did because I was still planning on seeing that movie, and I eventually did. 20 years late, but I did. My prerogative to watch a movie 20 years late. And I protected my headspace and I still was able to enjoy the movie. So I'm very vigilant when it comes to that, to protecting my headspace. Um, but oh yeah. Yeah, that people, yeah, people are just, and it's even worse now with memes because now I feel like the moment the movie is over, people are making memes with major plot points in them. And it's just like seriously, how frantic can you be? Like, calm down. The conversation can be there 3 weeks from now. You do not have to start talking about the movie with memes and everything is online as soon as you get out the theater. Like, have that conversation in person, but not online, people. Come on. But but that's how people are. They're just way too frantic to get out there and start speaking. Like, they go to a Thursday show and they talking at midnight. Opening weekend, midnight, 12:01 a.m. They are dropping major plot points because they are so frantic that they got to see the movie first and want to ruin it for everybody. Like, calm down, people. Calm down. Like that. Who is that? Taylor Swift? You need to calm down. Seriously. Oh my gosh. See, this is the worst. People are the worst. But I saw it the second weekend. So I don't like to go see movies on the first weekend. I try to avoid the crowds, even though I went on the second weekend and still got a crowd. Like, I had people on either side of me. It's been a long time since I've had people next to me in the theater, and that just did not feel great. I hated that. I wore my mask throughout the entire movie because I was like, I don't know, none of you Negroes, and Thanksgiving is next week, and y'all ain't about to keep me away from my Thanksgiving meal because of your foolishness. But yeah, so because I knew I was not going to go see it that first weekend, I pretty much avoided the internet that first weekend. I avoided the internet, and it just, I didn't come in, and like it had slowed down by the time I came back on, and I was able to avoid a lot of stuff. But people are just horrible. People are horrible. People are horrible. But okay. So now let's talk about Andor, the season finale. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get a season 2 because the way everybody on the internet has been talking about this show, like it was the second coming of Star Wars. They were so frantic about this show. Like, this is the greatest thing since the original trilogy. Calm down. But everybody has been, everything that I've been seeing online about this show, people loved this show. People thought this show was just the greatest thing since sliced bread, basically. And they really loved the finale. But you know me, I forwarded through some scenes because it was just a little too much. It was a little too much. I was already frantic about Cassian coming back to the planet for his mother's funeral, and I was like, everybody and their mama is waiting on you. Why are you there? Why are you there? But when it looked like, okay, he was at least smart enough not to come out into the open and to stay hidden. And then when it looked like, oh, he found out about Biggs, I was like, oh, so he's going to be the person to save Biggs. I was like, okay, I can forgive him from going back and being the one to save Biggs since nobody else was going to try. Nobody else tried to go get that girl. So he went to go get Biggs. And just that back and forth scene, it was just the fight and him getting Bix. I was like, this is taking too long. I couldn't take that. I couldn't take it was giving me anxiety. So I forwarded through some of that fight so he can get to Bix faster, because it was taking him forever to get to Bix, and then to get to her, to get her out the building, and to get her to say, I mean, oh my goodness, it took forever. But it was cool. It was cool seeing how everybody was waiting on him. The Empire just knew they were going to catch him out in the open like an idiot. Like, why would he be out in the open knowing that the whole universe was looking for him? They just expected him to come down the street with the funeral procession. Like, anyway, the Empire, they're smart enough to figure out that he was the one to kill those guards, but dumb enough to believe that he would come out in the open. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have them be this incredibly smart, super smart organization and then have them just think dumb shit like that. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, they were idiots, which allowed the whole uprisal to happen in the first place, because they should have, why they didn't see, I mean, the funeral procession started way too early. There was way more people. They were like, you can only have 30. They pushed it back, said you can have 40. So I can't count. I couldn't count all those people, but it was more than 40 from what I could see. And they was trying to get all those people out of the street. And people were like, screw you, stayed in the street. Like that was the beginning of a turn up. Somebody was gonna turn up. So yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, the emotional. It got you emotional. I never said I was done with the fast forwarding. I promised I wouldn't do it with the prison break. And I didn't do it with the prison break. I didn't say I was done forever. No, I never make that promise ever. Oh, well, yeah, yeah, that was, but I could see, I was able to watch Marva's funeral speech because I knew it was building to her saying, rise and fight the empire. I knew it was going to end with her saying like, fight now, right now, like right now, because that could be the only thing she was going to say. But I thought it was kind of cool that she got to speak at her own funeral. Like, funerals nowadays is just people getting up and lying and saying shit, trying to tell stories about people, trying to act like they more important in the person's life. Like, oh, this is my best friend. Y'all ain't never hung out a day in your life, but all of a sudden this your best friend. Just people just getting up, telling stories, prolonging the service that's already overlong. And it's really nice that this service was the actual dead person just getting up and speaking on their own behalf. And I was like, this is what funerals should be about. You should have a projection of the dead person just speaking on their own behalf and telling people what they think. That would be great. That would be something, and that would be something for the people who are actually grieving, to see them say something one last time. But instead of hearing all these fakes and phonies get up and say shit that was not true. Scene skipping from you. Hello, sister. Oh, the anxiety. Well, I guess that runs in the family. uh, yeah. Funny thing about Marva is she wasn't even that impactful of a character until the funeral. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people. I saw someone was like, had made mention like, oh yes, the show being called Andor, you know, had greater meaning now, because now I guess it's not just about Cassian, it's about Marva too, even though she really only was in the show for like 5 minutes. But I guess since she, was a catalyst for this great change in Ferrex, you know, I think this episode was good. I feel like the internet thinks it's gold. And I'm just like, it's good. It's good. But y'all loosen your minds a little bit. Hello, sister. People will post their own funeral speech as soon as they do it. They wouldn't even be able to hold on to it. People are crazy. Like, this is the first draft of my funeral speech. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Oh, dude. But I guess that's she was dying. So she just did that funeral speech a couple of days before she died. So that's for people like Marvel, because anybody else, who untimely deaths are not going to get the funeral speeches. This is for people who are dying, and they're the ones who are going to get a chance to do that. And they're probably going to barely get a chance to get it out in time for the funeral. So those people are not going to be posting it early because they're going to be too sick to do anything like that. So those speeches will be very impactful because they will just be seen at the funeral, I think. So what would I rate this season? 1 through 10, 10 being the best. Me personally, I think I'll rate this a 7. I think it's a 7. I thought the show was good. It kept me interested. I watched it to the end. There was some really good episodes, like the Prison Break episode was good. The finale was good. There was some episodes that were better than others. There was some characters that stood out, like Gollum. Gollum was great. But there was some slow times, and there was some slow episodes, and it started off slow. So, some people were able to hang with it and were like, it all came together cohesively for them, and that's great for them. For me, it's a 7. It's a 7. Yeah. I think it was a 7. It has potential. It has great potential. I definitely think it's going to come back. It ended with Mon Mothma and the introduction. Also, Mon Mothma, she was a sneaky one because she set up her husband to take the fall for her money problems. She on purpose, she was like, she told the limo driver that she wanted their conversation to be private, knowing that he would listen in onto it, and then accused her husband of gambling. Now, her husband wasn't gambling. He very adamantly was like, I am not gambling. Who's telling you this? I want to tell them that, tell me who told you this so I can say that they're a liar. So husband definitely ain't gambling. But by her telling him this, and by him going back and telling the Empire that she's planting the seed in the Empire that the reason why her money is funny is because of her husband. So she just threw her husband under the bus. And then she went and saw a loan shark so she can fill in those holes real quick. I was like, she's kind of ruthless. She was kind of ruthless. Ruthless right there. Top 5 shows or movies I started but refused to finish. That's something to think about. I will have to think about that. Yes. Let me think about that. I think she was covering all her bases. The reasons why she had that conversation and she introduced the daughter to the dude is because she knows that they were looking into her money already. So, because when the limo driver told the guy, he was like, "Oh yeah, there's been some discrepancies with her funds." So they had already started looking into her banking. So she needed to get a story out there to cover her behind. In the meanwhile, she needed both ends covered. So she got the story out there and to cover her until she could get that money to save her. So she went with both. Still ruthless, but uh but yeah, it was quick thinking because she didn't like the man anyway. So why not throw him under the bus? Why not? Um, because it's 400,000 credits. That's one hell of a gambling debt. That is a I can believe that's a huge gambling debt. Like they can probably believe 20, 30, 40,000 credits here or there, but 400,000 credits, that's not somebody told me you gambling again. That's a huge thing. She's missing 400,000 credits. She's got to cover that up. She's got to cover that up. Ain't no way her husband's taking that money and she did not notice. So, and there, and if he gambled that, and if he gambled away $400,000, 400,000 credits, they will be able to trace that. So she needs to cover it up so she can cover up how much money was missing. So they will never know how much money really truly was missing. And they won't be able to trace the missing money back to her. So once the money covers it up, they will think the missing money was always him and never her. And they will never connect the two. They will always think, okay, there was discrepancies with her money. Some of it was missing. It was the husband's, gambling debts. She probably, paid him off, blah, blah, blah. Money's back where it's supposed to be. All good. But if that 400,000 credits would have remained missing, they would have been like, okay, this is one hell of a gambling debt. And this is not right. They would have still investigated that. So, yeah, she needs to cover that up. She needs to cover that up in order to keep it off of her and onto her husband so they won't know what she's doing and what she's up to. Yeah, I truly believe is I think they're building to Rogue One. So so this was to show how he gets into the Rebel Alliance. So now they're showing how because like I guess by the time you get to Rogue One, the Rebel Alliance is pretty much uh a thing. It's pretty much a built out thing. We're still in the very early stages of them building out an alliance. But it's pretty much by the time you get to Rogue One, they have, levels and, you know, people with it's pretty much fleshed out. The organization is very fleshed out and it's very much a going concern. So this show could go on for some years, just showing how you get from here to there. So I don't know how many seasons they plan on it, but they could probably get 4 seasons out of this. They could. They probably could get more if they wanted to, but definitely 4. That's what I thought. I thought Cassian had paid him, but when he died, I was like, you know what? That's what you get. That's what you get. I don't understand why he felt like he had to tell on Cassian when Cassian paid him back. But I couldn't feel sorry for him when he got blasted to death. You wanted to be petty? Well, petty killed you, so really. Um He's in this show. That's the guy's name is Diego Luna. He's in this show called Narcos. I've never seen it, but that's another show that everybody loves. He's in a lot of stuff. Uh but Narcos is one of the most talked about things I've heard of him being in. Yeah. So yeah, it was this was good. This was very interesting. I don't know how long it's gonna take them to get to a season 2 because nothing everything has been season 1 on Disney Plus. Nothing, well, except for Mandalorian. Mandalorian has had a season 2, and I can't think of anything else that's had a season 2 other than Mandalorian. And I can't remember how long it took for that to have a season 2. Um, but it seems like it takes a while for these season 2s to come out. He is in Narcos, yes. Um, so let me see what else. I think that is all. Yeah, that is all. So yeah, so that's it for Andor. I don't know what else is coming up that I'm going to be watching. Still watching my network show. I'm still waiting for a couple of network shows to come back. Um, still watching The Equalizer and SWAT. Um, and I've been watching this show called The Winchesters, but that's basically because Superman is supposed to be in it. And I've been waiting for him to come on. He ain't came on yet. But eventually he's going to be on. And I'll get to see Superman on The Winchesters. But if I don't start watching another show, it is December. So we'll most likely be talking about Christmas specials because, this is the time for Christmas specials. And I'll probably also be talking about my favorite Christmas movies to watch each time this year. I have my 3 favorites are completely different. They are wildly different from different eras and completely different types of movies. But I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in December. my favorite Christmas movies. But yeah, so next, so we'll get into the Christmas spirit starting in December. All right. Thanks.